All right, we'll get started in just a minute or two. Thanks everybody for joining us today. We should have a great program. A great program on a slightly drizzly, rainy Tuesday or Thursday, but it's almost Memorial Day. That's a good thing. Steve, Patty, great to see you.
And you saw from that DOT camera that the visibility is being really reduced.
And Devin, just checking in to see if you've got your slides ready.
Ready.
50 degrees, the east motion's wind at 17 miles per hour.
Somebody's got the weather report on in the background. Something about
Right.
17 miles an hour. Is that you, Steve? Schomburg?
No.
All right, whoever's got that in the background, if you wouldn't mind muting. As nice as the weather report is. We'll find you.
Right.
That's keeping temperatures cool.
Thank you.
You bet. Found it. Well, welcome everybody. Make sure you go into the chat and that you sign in today. Happy to welcome you here on May 27th, the last Rotary meeting in May. Here we are in 2021. I think if you go to the gallery view and you see all of your friends, I think that Eric and Ryan are having a good time wherever they are. It looks like they're laughing, having a good time.
Tuning in live from the Highlander.
Exactly. Exciting, isn't it, everybody? These two are working through all of our technical bugs so that we can try to make sure that when we do go back to in-person meetings and we do take on the challenge of a hybrid meeting, which is no small task, that we have kind of worked through all the bugs. So we're getting there bit by bit. All right, well, it's 12:02, so I will get started. My name is Barb Thomas. If you don't know, I am your Rotary President for the 2020-21 Rotary year. So thank you for joining us today. As always, we start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Devin will put up a slide, and I encourage you to feel free to join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great, thanks so much, and thanks for sharing that slide, Devin. As it is, I know we are all becoming extremely proficient in Zoom, but just in case you aren't, I am going to turn it over to Devin, who's going to just give you a few Zoom reminders. Devin?
Yep, thanks, President Barb. Yeah, you all know the drill. I'll just point out, some people have background noise, some people don't. Some people can get away with having the microphones muted, some people can't. So just keep an eye on that. If I mute you, it's not personal. It's just that you had background noise, but I might track you down. And then if you want to talk, just unmute yourself. Also, you can mute and unmute your camera. You've probably seen that. You can change your view up in the top right corner on a computer, look like a little 9 grid, or if you're looking at the speaker view, it looks like a little movie icon. Encourage you to use the speaker view when people are talking for extended periods of time, but during times like this, it's kind of fun to see the rest of your fellow Rotarians, see their smiling faces, and at the end, that's a good time to see everybody wave. So do take advantage of that. Get to the chat, sign in. I appreciate everybody who's putting their names in. I help with attendance every week. And if you guys want to do a direct chat to somebody, down below it says to, and you can pick somebody else on the list and send them a direct message. So it's even better in some ways than whispering back and forth at your table during the meeting, because the speaker can't hear you or see that you're whispering. And then the final thing I'll point out is the reactions tab. There are all sorts of fun little reactions you can do, like the little crying laughing emoji or the little party emoji. Some, depending on which speaker it is and who's doing, oh yeah, Barb has the upgraded version of the surprise emoji, if you missed that. But that's a way to let the speaker know how you're feeling if they can't see your face. Usually people see that come floating by on the screen. So just a way to add a little bit. Kelly Drown correctly points out that the chat is recorded. That is not shared beyond the people who record the meeting and the note takers to help with the attendance. So if you do have private conversations, do keep it PG-13-ish, but we're not going to send it anywhere. That's all. Back to you, President Barb.
Great. So if you have a chat conversation that you do not want anyone to know, I think you could pay off Devin. That would be the way to go, because he's going to get it since he's recording the meeting. So look at him. He's such a good soul. He would never do such.
Text that stuff to your friends.
Well, thanks. We want to give you the opportunity now to practice some of those Zoom tips. That would be actually raising your hand in the reactions tab so that you can introduce a guest, or if you are a guest and would like to introduce yourself or a visiting Rotarian, we encourage you to do that. So I'm going to turn it over to Devin, who will call on any of the guests that we might have here. So just remember, go raise that hand.
I do not see any of the beautiful people that are here raising their hands. I am recognizing a lot of people. We've got some speakers here with us. Our perpetual guest from Vail, Colorado is with us. Gary. Not seeing anybody. Back to you, Barb.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. So just a reminder to everybody that soon we hope to be able to, we are planning on meeting in person soon. And to kind of share some exciting news, or just to give you a tiny little taste, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan and Eric.
Hey guys, coming in live from the Highlander. Good to see everybody. We're working on getting the tech set up so that we can meet in person here one of these days, but also give people the opportunity to be on Zoom as well. I think we've worked out a few bugs today, right, Eric?
Yep.
Worked out some bugs, but they're like cicadas. They keep coming up. Like, we can't get rid of all the bugs just yet. We'll wait till our first meeting to really unveil the true technology.
Well, thank
everybody.
you guys for doing the work out there and trying to kind of take on that technical challenge. It is no small task. So we really appreciate your help with doing it. And we know that our next Rotary year, we hope to be there in person. So looking forward to it. So I do want to share some exciting news with all of our members. In that Kelly Staub, one of our members, had a little baby. So look at this precious, precious picture. This is Avery Jane Staub. She was born April 19th. She is 6 pounds and 6 inches and, or 6 pounds, 6 ounces and 19 inches. She is not just 6 inches. That would be a little scary. But then look at these other two. So she's actually over a month now. So the picture on the one side is her 1 month picture. But then look at that precious, precious little yawn from her. So very charming, always happy to welcome a new baby into the Rotary family. And so congratulations to Kelly. And we think Avery is just a charm. Next, I want to go to Brad Baldus because Brad has a few announcements for us. Brad?
Thank you, President Barb. Assuming you can hear me here.
We can.
All right, so I'm pulling up on my screen the For the Families Rotary sponsored Ronald McDonald House Golf Tournament, which is now less than 2 weeks away. It is a week from Monday, June 7th at Finkbine Golf Course. And I wanted to provide an update and another plea for assistance. First of all, it is not too late to become a sponsor of various amounts and have some advertising of your business on the course and in the literature that we produce. There are only 2 tee times left. I remember specifying previously that this year, due to COVID, we're not doing a shotgun start. We're doing tee times, but we filled all but 2 of them. There's a 9 a.m. tee time and a 9:20 a.m. tee time on June 7th available still. So anybody who's thinking the weather's going to improve in the next week and a half, which I'm certain it will. We have 2 tea times available for this event, which is a great fundraiser for the Ronald McDonald House. There's also, well, I guess I was going to mention the sponsors that we have so far listed at the bottom of this page. So you can see a list of several sponsors that usually help us out each year. And notice there's a few names at the bottom. You don't have to be a business. You can be an individual and you can sponsor as well. So I will put a link in the chat about this. And then the next thing I wanted to mention was we are gearing up for volunteers since this is now under 2 weeks away. And there's a sign up genius to volunteer, which that's what this page is. And I'll put this link in the chat as well. But notice there's several specific time slots and activities that you can volunteer for. We have a need for several of them still. So anybody who wants to hopefully spend a nice day or part of the day outside on Monday, June 7th, please access this Sign Up Genius link that I will also put in the chat. And then lastly, which we've talked about before, if I can get this to refresh here, is the Adopt a Program or Adopt a House feature of this event, where we're asking or giving an opportunity for people to donate to a specific purpose at the house, which is summarized in this chart down here, ranging from $20 to $525 for a specific purpose. That also obviously would help and go towards our fundraising efforts for this event that Rotary is helping conduct. So all for a good cause, all part of our Rotary service activities, and it's less than 2 weeks away with still opportunities to participate and help. And that is it for me.
Well, thanks so much, Brad. What a great event and a great opportunity for you to support a great cause. You have a number of different ways to do it. So kind of check your calendar. Maybe you want to golf on June 7th. Maybe you want to help volunteer. And maybe you just want to support one of those great programs of Ronald McDonald House. So take a look. Those links will be in the chat. So I do want to share with you, we did a survey. I want to thank everybody who completed the survey, and I just wanted to share some of the results. As you remember, this survey is all about, your willingness to come back to in-person meetings and some other things around that. We received 139 responses, of which 95.62% of you have completed your vaccine. So great news there. When we asked how soon people would like to meet, the majority of you said you would like to meet right now. So we're going to do our darndest. We're going to get there. And then there was actually a tie at 22.39% for people who wanted to meet at the beginning of our Rotary year, at the beginning of July or in the fall. And for the most part, that beginning of our Rotary year is what we're targeting right now. We did ask members if they would use Zoom in the future as an option, and 45.26% said occasionally. I would be one of those people. I know there's days that I am super busy at work and it's hard to get out of the office, and I do like the option that I could potentially click a link and still join Rotary instead of missing the meeting. We did ask about pre-order, and here I just want to say thank you, because it is important for us to be a good customer to the vendor that we work with. And in the past, our club has never taken any responsibility. There has been no guaranteed minimum. We have basically put all of the risk and the cost of food preparation on our vendor. And so in order to be a good customer, I think it's important for us to realize that we have an obligation to them as well. And so I'm very happy to see that almost 72% said that people said that they are willing to register and reserve their lunch and pay in advance. And so as we work through that final system, we plan on providing some Zoom opportunities for you to see how the system works. We'll be using OpenTable. We believe that's the software program that the Highlander will be using. And so we'll do a little tutorial so that you can learn how to do it. It's not too hard, and I think everybody can. Heck, If you conquered Zoom, you can conquer Open Table as well, but we will be asking people to reserve their lunch and pay for it in advance. Needless to say, the buffet was the top option that everybody chose. Now, I understand that, not everybody wants to help run the meetings, but as you see with Ryan and Eric, there will be more logistics to running a meeting. And so we will need some additional help. But what we'd like to do is we'd like to treat kind of the technical support for the Zoom part of our meetings, just like we do with the greeters and the note takers. We'd like to develop a small committee of people who will then be trained in the technical side of helping run the Zoom aspect of our meetings, but that it will rotate so that the work is not too much for just one or two individuals. So if you feel that you're, fairly tech savvy, but that you're willing to give us 1 or 2 meetings a month, ideally, it would be great if we had enough volunteers that everyone took 1 meeting a month. But if you are interested in that, I encourage you to reach out to me or to Eric Weiler so that we can kind of get that committee together. In addition, we are looking at for down the road, possibly by the time we do our dues the next time, providing an option for an online payment system. So we're hoping to do that. It looks like about 40% said that you might take it or that you would take advantage of that. Just know that when that happens, there are always fees and charges, and those would be probably passed on to the members. So just wanted to provide a little bit of input there or give you an idea of what we learned. Thank you to everybody who filled out the survey. That helps us as we move forward to hybrid meetings. So next, I'd like to call on Tricia Smith from the United Way for a fun announcement. Tricia?
Thank you so much, Barbara. Just as a reminder, we let the cat out of the bag, I believe, last meeting, but thanks to all of you once again for all of your work to support the feeding program that we initiated this last summer, late spring, early summer, and with the help of all of the members and specifically, Barb Thomas and our volunteers who felt safe to support delivering food in the environment that we were in at the time. We have presented Iowa City Noon Rotary with an award for their outstanding commitment during disaster relief in our community. And I had the privilege of doing a video and presenting that to Barb and Jim this morning. And you can join our virtual event next Wednesday evening, the 2nd at 5 p.m. And you can catch that video as well as several other wonderful individuals, organizations and groups in our community who stepped up not only for disaster, but also just throughout the year as volunteers. Of course, those companies who supported us during campaign and so many other fun elements, including our comedian, Sarah Michaels, who will be doing a short shtick at the beginning just to take a little moment to laugh because we know mental health is important and laughter is the best way to increase that positivity in our brains. So congratulations to everyone with Noon Rotary. It is the membership that provided us with this opportunity. We're so excited to partner with you and look forward to doing it again.
Well, thanks so much, Tricia. And Jim and I were happy to kind of accept this award on behalf of the Iowa City Noon Rotary. Just a reminder to everybody, this is an example of your dues at work. Because it is your dues that provide your club leadership with the opportunity to support different initiatives. If you remember last spring, all of a sudden we weren't meeting and we had, made commitments to our restaurant partners, but weren't going to be able to spend money with them. So what we were able to do was actually give them business and provide food to frontline workers and others who needed it. And frankly, we probably couldn't have done it as easily or as well without our friends at the United Way. So it was definitely one of the best partnerships that I've participated with. I'm just going to tell you, if you ever have a chance to work on a project with Tricia Smith, highly recommend it. She's really organized and she's a doer. And as a doer, I love working with another doer. So before we move on, I want to go to Kim Casco, who has an announcement. Kim?
Yes, thanks, President Barb, and congratulations, Rotary Club, on the United Way Award. That's great. Couple quick announcements about some things on our end. As many of you know, because you went through the program, we have our annual Community Leadership Program, which this year, celebrating its 30th year, we're having a celebration event for that on Friday, June 11th. We've got a couple service projects running that day, because what better way to celebrate community leadership? And then it'll wrap up with a celebration at Table in North Liberty, and I'll put that information in the chat. Also, applications for the next class are open and due June 18th, and we're hoping to be able to do the program in person again. So I'll put that in the link. Please share it out and encourage folks to apply. And then lastly, I'd like to invite you to big celebration event that Project Better Together is having on Wednesday, June 16th at the Extreme Arena in Coralville from 4:30 to 6:30. It's just going to be a celebration of all we've collectively, done together through this pandemic. We're going to have the city leaders and the supervisors talk about the plans they have ahead and how we're going to, rebuild and reimagine an exciting future together. And so please, I invite all of you to join us at that. It's free. There's no RSVP required. I'll put that in the chat too. That's it.
How exciting. I have to say, I think we are all very excited that life is coming back to normal. It is great to think that this summer we'll be able to go to festivals downtown. I saw the other day that the food to table, where like there's a big dinner party downtown, that's going to go on sale June 1st. I have to say, it's just really exciting and liberating in a way that life will return back to normal. So that's great. I think the Project Better Together has done a lot of tough work in our community to kind of inform and engage and help us make it through this. So I think it's a good reason to celebrate. And you get to see that really cool Extreme Arena, which opened in the pandemic, and many of us have not had the chance to see. So it's a really great opportunity. So next, I'm going to go to Bill Bywater, and Bill is going to share with us his Rotary moment of gratitude and positivity. Bill?
Thank you, President Barb. Elected club president at age 29, half the average age of the all-male membership, most of whom I addressed as Mr. and was often admonished for doing so. I was the second youngest member. 20 years earlier, about age 9 or 10, I was exposed to Rotary for several years by parking cars at the much anticipated annual picnic at founding member Roy Mercer's summer cottage next door to where I grew up on the Jewish Cemetery Road. To you newcomers to our wonderful area, that's now been Linder Road for about 50 years. I was sent home to bed next door about halfway through the event that always went well past midnight. They were concerned for my safety as the vehicles exited. Initiated in '64 under the sponsorship of our first P&G manager, Bob Marston, I was recruited about a year later to take over as both secretary, treasurer, and bulletin editor for Bill Adamson. The following June, Linda and I were selected to chaperone the then world famous University of Iowa Scottish Highlander Bagpipe Band to the 1966 Rotary Convention in Denver. Bill Adamson was the director for many years prior to his passing in 1965. 2 busloads of pretty, young, and talented women, the executive secretary Nadine Thornton, Linda, and me. I was the only person with a private bathroom in the dorm at the University of Denver where we stayed. Richard Horner, Rotarian who owned Corner Box Company in Kirkwood, paid for the trip with our own Alan Dakin coordinating the details as past RIVP and administrative dean of the university, the number 2 person at that time. A rodeo and stock show was scheduled just for Rotary. Our Highlander performance was a delightful evening at historic Elitch Gardens. Linda will always remember the bass drummer pivoting and unintentionally almost knocking Secretary of State Dean Rusk off his feet, something some of our world adversaries would have delighted in doing. I earned my keep on the return trip that had a very flexible schedule. As we approached Iowa and dinner time, we realized no formal plans had been made for feeding the 2 busloads. We stopped in Lincoln. I called our company's Council Bluffs area salesperson, Ken Hummel, to make some arrangements for just an hour later. It was a fitting curtain call to a wonderful experience for all. Our banker's advertising representative reminded me of it the rest of his life. The rest of our lives have added memories of encounters with prominent Rotarian world leaders like General Secretary George Means, Japan Times publisher George Togasaki, Richard Evans, University of Cape Town President J.P. Duminy. These acquaintances primarily due to the wonderful friendship with Alan and his connections. From Denver on, I was committed to the value of the International Convention. As president elected for 1969-70, the annual $500 in the budget wouldn't get us as far as Denver again for the convention in Hawaii. We stayed home and went on our own in 1970 to Atlanta. A highlight was a delightful host couple selecting Linda and me to entertain for the evening. My very enjoyable year ended with me learning to use fellow members' first names. A trip to the Portland Convention in 1990 brought back some wonderful memories and underscored for me why Rotary has been so prominent in our lives and those of millions around the world. Our club over the years has originated some outstanding projects that have influenced humanity far beyond our club jurisdiction, unlike most other Rotary clubs. Many are ongoing and could be for years to come. They're summarized in our centennial booklet. For me, association with our most recent project, the Rotary Kerber Heart Safe campaign, has been very rewarding. You all received our annual report last December. Jim Merchant and our committee are anxious to update you soon on some exciting further achievements. In closing, we have a wonderful club. I'm grateful to hundreds of fellow members over the years for experiences that have exceeded my fondest expectations and hopefully yours too.
Great. Thank you so much, Bill. It's wonderful to hear your moment and hear about all of those great memories that you've been able to have through Rotary. And as Bill mentioned, you know, there is always a Rotary International Convention. This year it was slated to be in Taipei. However, given the circumstances, it will all be virtual, but you can still attend. So people can join it via Zoom. So I'll try to find that information and add it to the chat as well. So just a reminder before we go to the program, please go into the chat and add your name if you haven't. That'll help us keep track of attendance. There's some a number of great announcements in there, so feel free to scroll up and take a look at the different information that is in there as well. Next, we will move on to our speakers, and first I will go to Kim Casco for an introduction. Kim?
Sure. Hi again, everyone. Just to kind of frame up today's presentation, I just want to share some things that the business partnership has been working on and looking at that relates to workforce. So when we talk with members about our challenges, both pre-pandemic times and now kind of coming out of this, overwhelmingly we hear that workforce is the #1 challenge, and you see it exacerbated now since the pandemic, especially our small local businesses and our restaurants and our hotels, you know, struggling to find staff as they ramp back up. And you know, as we've seen, you know, over this past year, we live in a really fast-paced, ever-changing world that will require, you know, our next generation to be agile and creative and engaged and to really help solve some pretty tough problems. And you know, in the coming decade, we've got about 63% of jobs, you know, will require a college degree. And through the state's Future Ready Iowa program, Iowa has a goal to have 70% of its workforce obtain some form of education after high school. But the skills gap remains, and many of our students are still left behind. And so the business community has, you know, a ever more critical role to play in supporting our schools and helping prepare our students for this future. About 2 years ago or so, the business partnership committed to helping Workplace Learning Connection expand their job shadow and internship program with our members. And again, a lot has happened since then, but it's never more important to connect students with these authentic work-based learning opportunities that connects the classroom to future careers. And we've got this gem in our backyard with this Workplace Learning Connection program through Kirkwood Community College. And I sit on a lot of calls with other chamber CEOs, you know, around the country, and often get to brag about them and their work on these calls. And so I'm really excited that they could spend time with you all today to tell you more about this. And also, before I turn it over to Eric, who's going to introduce the program and the people presenting today, you know, I really want to put a challenge out to you all, especially business leaders and owners, that to really look for opportunities within your organizations to create job shadows and internships and other work-based learning opportunities for students. Again, it's really important for us to support that work and support students as they develop these skills and tools that they're going to need to really thrive in this unknown future. And so, so I will stop there, and I'm going to have Eric turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Kim. When most of us think of Kirkwood Community College, we think of higher education, but Kirkwood has a wonderful program called the Workplace Learning Connection. And what that program does, it connects local middle and high school students and educators to local businesses through career awareness, exploration, and work-based learning opportunities such as job shadows, internships, worksite tours, career speakers, and events. Our first speaker, Carole Hebl, she joined Workplace Learning Connection in 2017 as a program coordinator, business liaison for Johnson County. Carole loves interacting with businesses and students and watching students make connections and networking opportunities for their futures. Melissa Kumle-Harris joined Workplace Learning Connection in 2019 as another program coordinator, business liaison for Johnson County. Melissa enjoys watching students connect at a high level with business professionals at job shadows and other events, and enjoys seeing students light up at the prospect of working in their dream career. So please help me give a warm Rotary welcome today to our speakers, Carole and Melissa.
Introducing Colliders, your favorite candy flavors twisted, chopped, or layered into a dessert that's made to spoon. New Colliders desserts. Find them near the refrigerated pudding.
Carole, are you on here? Did she get bumped off?
She's
Hold on
here.
just a minute.
Her
Is she here?
microphone's just muted.
Okay.
Oops, I'm sorry. Eric, thank you for that introduction. I appreciate that very much. Kim Casco, that was a great presentation on your part. You really summed it up all very well. So I appreciate that. I hope I can follow that tough act of yours. Thank you. First of all, Kirkwood's Workplace Learning Connection, our goal is to help develop Iowa's future workforce through relevant, quality, work-based learning experiences that support students' career and academic plans. We're considered an intermediary that connects area students and educators with local businesses and organizations. We coordinate classroom speakers, worksite tours, events, job shadows, and internships for high school students across our 7-county region. These counties are Benton, Cedar, Iowa, Johnson, Jones, Lynn, and Washington County.
Thanks, Carole. So let's talk about why the work we do at Kirkwood's Workplace Learning Connection matters. Work-based learning opportunities are a pivotal part of a student's career and academic planning. Specifically, this career exploration allows students to investigate and explore different careers without any monetary commitment. They're able to truly understand and dive into their career interests before committing to a field of study. This type of discovery helps them refine their college plans prior to launching their chosen career path. And we all know how costly college can be. So this type of exploration can save students so much time and money. Additionally, work-based learning really helps to connect educator and students' classroom experiences to real-world opportunities. Plus, students can network with you all, the local businesses, learn about 21st century employability skills, build their resumes, and gain confidence, which we all know is so important to trying to break into a career field.
At WLC, we feel that the businesses and industry also will benefit from providing work-based learning experiences. By participating in our programming, businesses can develop relationships with potential future employees, creating a funnel for more qualified candidates down the road. In addition, your participation helps get the organization's name and career opportunities out into the community and provides a great avenue for employees to give back to the community. And by hosting internships, helps companies further connect with the talent that is essential for business to thrive in our region. Hosting WLC interns is cost effective as the students do receive high school credit and they are not paid. These are safe, relevant, work-based learning activities that are aligned with the school district plans. Plus, hosting today's youth provides you with an opportunity to not only mentor them, but to share your passion of how and why you landed in your career. You have the opportunity to really inspire these students.
So let's talk more about this inspiration. Here's some recent statistics that we acquired from this year's interns. These students worked between 45 to 90 hours with local businesses. 75% of them said that their experiences led to a positive impact on their decision to stay living and working in Iowa. 89% gained a better understanding of the amazing local career opportunities available to them. 95% said that their experience influenced their career field selection for the future. And as an added bonus, 37% of these high school student interns were offered continued engagement from their business hosts, whether it be an actual job or some other type of engagement. So, are you wondering how you or your organization can get involved? We hope so. So WLC has lots of opportunities, both in person and virtual, available. Let's talk about those opportunities now.
So one way that you can get involved, and we feel is a great starting point, is to host a job shadow. The time commitment for a job shadow is small, usually only 1 to 3 hours, depending on whether you're hosting it virtually or in person. It introduces these students to your business, its associated careers, and helps them explore the possibilities of a career in your industry. These job shadows are school-sanctioned events that are coordinated with the school. When participating through our program, students are covered through their school's workers' compensation policy for school-to-work activities. So there is no liability to the business host.
So hosting an intern is another option we kind of touched on earlier. These are unpaid opportunities that allow students to earn high school credit. And don't let the 45, 60, or 90-hour commitment deter you, please. These hours can easily be spread over weeks. And as we mentioned before, there's no liability for your business. Plus, you can get a firsthand, in-depth look at the local talent and help these students dive deeper into their career interests. And you get to bring on vetted students that are eager to help with projects and may even have some new ideas that can help your business.
In addition to hosting job shadows, there are other opportunities as well. We provide many other career and work-based learning opportunities to the local students and school districts. Some of those include mock interviews, project-based learning, classroom or virtual speakers, worksite tours, event speakers. These events help reach students as young as 5th grade, which means your impact on keeping local talent local truly makes a difference in these students' lives.
So we have some great testimonials that we'll show. One here is from Kate Moreland, and I have a student one too, but thank you so much for allowing us to share our programming with you. We hope to work with you in the future to help students discover their passions while you're also helping to build Iowa's future workforce. I'll post some contact information in the chat feature as we take some questions if you'd like to reach out to us directly. And then we'd like to stay on and maybe field some of your questions if you have any for us.
Great, thanks so much. I really appreciate it, Melissa. So I just want to encourage, if we have any members that have any questions for them, to please let me know. I also wanted to check, I believe that, was Jennifer Banta going to join us as well today? Is she able to be here? And if not, that's okay. We're going to keep working on. But please, if you are interested, raise your hand for a question. I'd like to go to Eric with the first one.
Yes, thank you. Carole, Melissa, can you talk about the number of K through 12 students that you engage with every year? I know before COVID, it was like what, 26, 27,000. It was an enormous number that you're helping to touch their lives and helping them think about careers as they get older.
Carole, do you want to field this or me too?
Well, to be honest, I was just going to look for our annual report, and I was going to put that in the chat as well for you to access. I don't, Melissa, do you have numbers for this year yet?
We don't have as detailed numbers like readily available, but I can give you generic ones for this school year. But let's keep in mind that this school year looked very different because of COVID. We weren't able to get into the high schools like we normally do at the beginning of the year. But let's talk about like what our norm is. Our norm is about 3,400 to 3,600 students that we touch in some way throughout our programming. So, and that can range, I think job shadows are usually around 700 students, interns around 250 to 300 per year. And we're looking to continually increase that by like 10% each year. So you guys helping us is critical. We're about, I believe we did about a third of that touch for this school year. Again, a lot of it is because you remember at the beginning of the school year, our schools didn't even know if they were going to be in person or virtual. They didn't know what they were going to be teaching, what curriculum, what that was going to look like. And so luckily we were still able to get a lot of contact with our schools and convert basically all of our programming virtual. And we will continue this hybrid. We're hoping to do a lot of our programming in person moving forward, but we will keep virtual component because it really allows us to hone in on that diversity and inclusion component of what we strive to do, which is reaching underrepresented communities and students that have barriers like transportation. I hope that answers your question, Eric.
That's great. And I do want to make sure that we encourage people, you know, they have put the information, the link in the chat. In just looking at that, it provides a lot of great information, including like kind of some helpful tips for actually hosting a job shadow. But then in addition, information on those other ways that you can participate, being a classroom speaker, mock interviews, knowing that, you know, in my role at the Tippie College of Business, we do that a lot as well. And it's amazingly beneficial to the students who participate in that. So next, there's a question from Devin.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more about the things that you're going to keep virtual versus the things that you really want to go back into in person? Like what works well virtually? Because I can imagine the things that don't work well, but what things do work well?
Melissa, I'll go ahead and take that.
Yep.
One thing that we had done this year is our mock interviews have all gone virtually. We have done a lot of mock interviews this year, and they have really worked well. Like we were talking before we all got on here, how convenient it is, just like Barbara said, just to click on a link and join it. A lot of our mock interviews, they have been during class time when the students are in class, they're in a specific class. For instance, we did mock interviews for right at 100 students for Clerk Creek Amana here at the end of April. And we had 3 different times and they were all during their class times. So there was one day that we did it in the morning for an hour and a half to 2 hours. And then we did it in the afternoon for an hour and a half to 2 hours. And again, all during class time. It was easy for the business just to click on a link. They didn't have to drive there. So I think that you'll see some of our mock interviews stay virtual. A lot of our job shadows for next year will stay virtual as well, especially in the healthcare industry. We do a lot of job shadows at the University of Iowa, and I know that those for fall will definitely be virtual. They're hoping by spring that maybe we will be able to go back to in-person. But there is just a lot of convenience about Zoom, as you guys know, this way as well. We have businesses. We were just on a call this morning with Iowa County Professional Development for the teachers. And there was a guy on there from Colorado that was speaking to the teachers about IT and, you know, what they're looking for in their students, what they should be maybe teaching students in their classrooms. So yeah, I think it's going to be very fluid next fall still. So you're still going to see a lot of virtual opportunities, but then there are some areas that you will see back in person. Obviously, our internships are encouraging those to be in person, although there are some projects that I know the internships are working on, and they will be working on those internships via projects via Zoom. So I think that Zoom has opened up a lot of other opportunities that we weren't aware of before COVID. So there are some good things that have come out of this. Melissa,
Just to piggyback on what Carole said, another huge component to what we did virtually, thanks to so many of our business partners, is we created virtual career speaker videos that our educators have continued to thank us for and praise us for, because otherwise they may not have had work-based learning access in their classroom without those that allowed for that local touch. And so, you know, that's an easy way also to start working with us, is to create a 5 to 10 minute video telling us about your career, the skills needed, something that the students can listen to at their convenience to learn more about your career field. But just to let you know, I don't know the exact YouTube views on it, but I do know that we have had views from our YouTube channel across the nation, with tons of people providing us feedback on how amazing our videos are. And that's thanks to business partners like you all.
That's great. And just think, you know, there's a lot of great experienced business professionals here who could talk about your professional career, and that will provide insight and guidance to students that are in school right now. Let's go to Joe Hughes with a question. Joe?
Yeah, do you have any memorable stories of students that had great experiences, or anyone that ended up going into that career afterwards?
Well, I'll go first, and I know Carole has one, but I want to give one that I personally witnessed just this fall. We had a new business partner, C&R Pork Farms, which is great because we are looking to expand our agriculture pathway because there's a lot of interest. He hosted an animal science day for us, and it was in person. Even though COVID, they were able to keep the distance because they were on the farm. But there was a female there was very interested in veterinary science. And during this job shadow, they had their sow manager, who was also a female, talk about fertilization of the pigs and how at this farm they help from conception all the way to processing of the pork. And this female student, she was a senior, was so excited about it, and she just felt so passionate about it and just really resonated that she stayed after the job shadow, talked to our host, Ryan, who's the owner of the farm, and he ended up offering her a job. And she worked part-time during the fall, and then he hired her full-time this spring.
Wow, that's great. Next, I'll go to Tricia. You have a question.
Actually, mine's just a quick reflection. We're excited. We have 2 high school students that will be starting this summer. They're doing job shadowing in marketing as well as understanding nonprofit administration. And I've had the wonderful opportunity to meet with both of those students virtually already, just to kind of do our preliminary layout of what they can expect, as well as to get their schedule down. Both phenomenal, outstanding students, so professional for being so young. And I'm just really energized to be able to partner with Kirkwood on this opportunity and work with these 2 young women.
Thank you so much. That's a great story. We appreciate your support, and United Way, you guys have always really been fantastic. And so we really appreciate that. Thank you.
That is great. So just a reminder to everybody, lots of opportunities here that you can do job shadows, speak to students, record your own video of your career. I know there's a lot of very accomplished Rotarians out there. You too can share that information. So please take a look in the chat and look online. There's plenty of opportunities for you to be engaged. So Carole and Melissa, I wanted to let you know that we're very grateful you spending the time with us today. And in honor of you doing so, we will actually make a donation to Rotary International's Polio Plus program in your names.
Thank you very much.
Thank
That's
you so
awesome.
much.
Thanks for having us.
You bet. And with that donation, that is actually matched by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation 2-to-1, which means that that will provide 70 vaccines around the world for polio. And as you always hear about, we're this close to kind of getting rid of polio. There's just a little bit left, but we're going to have to keep at it. So again, if there is no other business before our club, we will end our meeting. I'll ask Devin to put up the four-way test. And I encourage you all, if you'd like to unmute and you can join us in the four-way test. Of the things that we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you all for joining us today. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. So it should be hopefully a nice weather. I haven't really looked, but I think it'll be great to have a 3-day weekend, at least for me. So great. Thank you all and enjoy.